Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your Mercury retrograde in Aries special. So I'm doing these because I feel like this transit's going to be quite important. I feel like it's going to be quite instrumental for a lot of us. And I feel that it's going to, this is going to be the one that we remember from this year kickstarting everything. Jupiter's gone retrograde, absolutely, you know, which is your ruler, so that's important for you guys. Saturn's also gone retrograde again, which is really important for you guys. But what is, you know, those are long transits. Those are big things that we're going to wait a long time to see, at least 4 or 5 months in both cases, to really see what the retrograde has done. This is a much shorter, and because of the explosive and sort of quick energy of it, you're going to be feeling this quite I feel like this one's going to be instrumental in the big changes that happen this year. You know, you'll be able to remember the next 3 to 6 weeks as the time when things really started to shift and to change for you. Okay, so Mercury, thoughts, communication, emails, text messages, phone calls, conversations, colleagues, siblings, neighbours, you know, people that we communicate with on a daily basis and how that communication takes place. So social media, you know, all of that sort of stuff. Aries is, you know, it's the sign of assertion, it's the sign of will, it's the sign of the masculine desire and the masculine force. And that's not necessarily just about male energy, you know, it carries that energy for sure, but it's more about the fact that, you know, it's masculine energy, which means, you know, masculine energy is creative in the sense that it gives you the drive to make something happen. And so therefore, you know, Mercury, the first planet after the sun, in the first house of the zodiac, or rather in the first sign of the zodiac, that's a big push towards initiatory change. That's a big push towards making something happen, towards having the gusto to make something happen. Mercury going retrograde is about reassessment, reevaluation. It's about redoing something, you know, and I've said this in all the other videos. Your mind is, you know, your thoughts rather are the foundations that you lay the things that you want to manifest into real life on, you know, and if your thoughts are not a strong foundation, that's just going to dissipate and it doesn't become anything. Whereas if your thought form is strong, your thought construct is strong, and your mind is strong, you know, and the way that you do that is by training it, by going over something and, you know, constantly. I need to take that down because it's for the previous sign. You just spotted that. You know, it's very much about you, you know, it's, sorry, that's really thrown me off. Yeah, the Mercury retrograde is about reassessing, about reevaluating and going back over something that you've thought about. So this isn't, you know, a lot of the stuff that comes up under this transit won't be new to you. It will just be stuff that needs to be re-examined so that you can get the best out of it and you can put your best foot forward whilst trying to create or do it. And this for you guys happens in your 5th house, I believe. Yeah, so brilliant. I mean, what is the 5th house? The 5th house is about your creativity, and I've said this in one of the previous videos. Creativity doesn't necessarily mean, you know, like watercolors and, you know, expressive dance and all of that stuff. It can, it absolutely can, and it comes under that, and drama and singing and all of that. But sometimes actually being creative is just about finding different ways to approach the same thing, to approach a specific subject or skill or whatever. And the example that I gave earlier in one of the previous videos is you got 2 maths teachers. One maths teacher will just teach you by rote, you know, hard work, draw on the board, give you books to read and examples, and done. Whereas the creative maths teacher will say, I've got 7 apples and I want to take away 3 of those apples. How many more apples have I got? What you're doing there is using your own thoughts, your own creativity, you know, to give somebody else's creativity a buzz and a boost to be able to work for them. So you're imparting exactly the same, the 2 teachers are imparting the exact same knowledge, but one is being creative about the way that they do that. If you're an accountant, What is a creative way to do your account? I don't know, because I don't know anything about accounts. I'm terrible with maths. Apart from numerology, I'm great with that. But you know, this is about finding a way to be creative in your endeavors. Now, the other part of this is about your joy and your zest for life. It's about your excitement. And you know, I say that because the 5th house represents children, it represents creativity, procreation, it represents our kids, it represents, you know, being seen and all of that stuff. And you know, this might be you learning from children. It might be you harking back to your Mercury retrograde, thinking back over your own childhood and understanding how that gave you certain drives, how that gave you certain understandings, how it made you behave in certain ways, and what that means for you now, how it aids or hinders you in some way, shape or form. So, you know, for those of you that have children, communication with them might be a bit fraught, might be a bit tense over this time, but equally, once you come out of this, anything that you've spoken about will have really cleared the air. It will have really given you and your children an understanding of just how you support each other, how you are different, but how you are of the same ilk, how you are of the same family, how you are of the same kin. And that ultimately is, you know, is beautiful. It really can't be anything but. What else have I put here? Your higher creative intelligence is going to be tugging at your consciousness, asking for some kind of reliefs. Now, that's a really important part, because this is, you know, what I was saying about the 2 maths teachers. It doesn't matter what you do in life, but if you find a way to be creative in the way that you do it, that's what's going to make all the difference. That's what's going to keep it fresh for you. That's what's going to keep it exciting. And ultimately, the other part of the 5th house is it talks about the divine child within us. It talks about that part of us that never grows up, that wants to, you know, skip and dance and play and be stupid and say, oh, you know, I'm not doing that today. I want to do this. And, you know, I'm going beyond what I need to with it. But I'm trying to give you an example of how this can work out for you, of how you can get the best from yourself, you know, because of the house that this falls in. The other part of this, Aries is a fiery house, Sagittarius is a fire sign, so this is giving you that positive energy. You know, you are a mutable sign, so you're the sign that's kind of about, you know, just going with the flow and kind of, yeah, well, maybe I'll do a bit of this and I'll do a bit of that. So creativity for you guys comes really easily. You know, you think in a very broad sense, because Sagittarius is all to do with, you know, philosophy and higher thought and higher wisdom and belief structures and, you know, what is God and all of the, you know, the really big stuff. So the mutable energy gives you that, it affords you that ability. But the Aries energy is going to give you some direction, it's going to give you some focus, and the Mercury retrograde in Aries is going to give you this ability to really go into yourself and say, right, okay, that's how I can play, that's how I can create, that's how I can, you know, be and do all of this. But the Aries part is going to give you a direction, it's going to give you focus, it's going to take all of that joy and that zest for life and enable you to pour it into something, to create something real. I would like to bless this deck with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the message that comes through is ultimately clear and concise and it helps you on your path to your highest vibrational good. Let's see what the tarot has to say. Oh, beautiful. You lucky, lucky, lucky people. You get the Sun. And the Sun card is exactly that. It's the joy, it's the optimism. Is the funny thing is as well, in the Rider-Waite tarot, this is it's a naked child riding a white horse. All the symbols for purity, all the symbols for innocence, for joy, for the divine child, for just being in love with life itself, for just being awakened and enlivened to, for and by life, and finding a way to really to enjoy life. You know, to really, and to find your creativity. The Sun is the creator in all of the old mystery schools, in all of the old ancient ways, and, you know, all the Sun was God, because it was the life giver. It was, you know, the thing that helped the crops grow. It was the thing that scared the darkness away and all of that. And this is very much about that. You know, your 5th house Mercury retrograde is asking you to really delve deep into that, you know, that personal internal child that is pure and divine and just wants the best and the happiest and the most abundance of life. And you've got the Sun card there saying, yeah, you know what, kid, get on your horse and bloody get out there. I mean, what more could you ask for? You know, it's great, really, really wonderful. Let me know how this plays out for you as well. I'm an amateur astrologer, so yeah, it's always interesting to see whether I've got it right or what I need to tweak or what I need to know more of. So thank you so much for joining me. I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance itself. Take care, and I will see you for the monthly readings very soon.